Welcome to the Emotional Balance Sheet, the go-to podcast for parents with multiple kids, especially those with twins, triplets, or more, who are navigating the maze of modern family life and personal finance. Whether you're overwhelmed by education or retirement planning, parenting dilemmas, career transitions, or trying to define your purpose and plan, we're here to guide you with empathy, encouragement, and expertise. Hosted by Paul Fenner, founder of Tama Capital, a certified financial planner and parent to 4 kids, including a set of triplets. Our podcast is your ally in the quest for financial peace of mind, proving that money matters, but family comes first. Subscribe now and join our community of empowered parents at tamacapital.com. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Tama may retain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast.
What does comprehensive financial planning even mean? At Tama Capital, it means a family office where lifestyle planning such as retirement, college, portfolio management, and tax prep and planning are all under one umbrella. But it goes beyond numbers. We focus as much on the emotional side of financial planning as we do on the financial side. We get you. We understand your challenges of building a family, business or career, and a healthy life. We are devoted to wealth planning for families like yours because we are you. Learn how our family can help your family by visiting tamacapital.com. Hi, and welcome back. There's a strong sense of seasonality to what I do as a financial advisor. Obviously, there's tax prep season, which runs through, February, March, and potentially into April. I try not to do that with families I work with. And then there's what I call planning season, which is in the fall, the September and October months. And it's the time of the year where I sit down for our annual review with the families I work with. And I'm in close contact with the families I work with throughout the year. But once a year, we sit down to really talk about the emotional side of financial planning for the most part. Yeah, we'll talk about numbers, how the plan's looking, how portfolios are doing, things like that. But what I really want to get out of these conversations with the families I work with is what's going on in their lives if there's something I don't know about. And I've been in planning season now for 2 weeks. And there's one theme that has come up multiple times. And when this happens, this is the time or the topics I want to bring to you. And quite pointedly, the topic is you have the power. So what do I mean by that? Like I mentioned earlier this year or on several podcasts, I've read the book Design Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans from the Stanford Design Your Life Lab. And they've written this great book. And soon I'm gonna work on, once I get through planning season, a whole series about this book and what I've learned. But going back to this point about you have the power, I know, and I'm certain you do as well, and maybe you are struggling with this as well, whether it's your career, relationships, even your finances, things aren't where you want them to be. Things aren't necessarily right. And it's really easy to get down on yourself when you're feeling this way. But at the end of the day, I come back to this point, and I've made it multiple times this week alone with conversations with families, is that you still have control. You have more control than you think. It's easy to focus on what's going wrong with life versus what's going right with life. And that's exactly what I did in a few of these conversations. And listen, this does not come necessarily easy for me. This has been one thing I've really focused on over the last really 3 to 4 years, but probably over the last 7 to 8 years, of being able to focus on the good things in life and what that's done for me. So every day, part of my opening ritual, when I walk down into my office and I start my day, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. And I've been doing that now for about the last year and a half. And at first I thought, well, this is some kind of hokey thing to do. But I really believe that over this time span, it has helped me be a better husband, a better father, and a better advisor, and a better friend. And I think that it allows me to offer a perspective that maybe most people aren't thinking about because they don't necessarily take the time to think about what's going on that's good, because it's so easy to focus on what's bad. And so, one of the reasons, if you've noticed, there's been a change this season in the show. I've got Dr. Taryn Clark, who's a neurologist, on a regular basis. I have Dr. Jennifer Dragonette, a licensed therapist, on a regular basis. Why is that? Why would a quote unquote podcast about financial planner hosted by a financial advisor have a neurologist and a psychologist on once a month? Because it goes and addresses the heart of what I'm trying to talk about today, the point I'm trying to make about you have more control. So understanding how your brain functions, literally, physically, and how your emotions function, your emotional mindset, if you will. And that's really where I like to talk to these experts and bring real life case scenarios and questions that I'm seeing with the many families that I work with. And I work with people as young as, in their teens to people as old as in their early 80s that are in retirement, and everybody in between. But it's really this focus on these very different life stages that people are in and what they want to get out of them. And I see so many people struggling. And I made this point to somebody earlier this week, is that the time to just survive, whether it's in a relationship or your job, career, and this person is in mid 40s, is over. Like we don't have it's not like you're in your 20s or 30s where the world is your oyster, if you will. You have this longer runway. It's not like that and this is where research backs this up, where the quote unquote midlife crisis occurs in mid 40s to early 50s. Well, I can actually kind of see that now that I'm now 48. And I don't want anybody thinking out there that I'm having a midlife crisis. I think I had my midlife crisis back when I was in my 30s. And I'm glad I did, because looking back on that, I took control and made a decision to put all my chips into this firm, my family, this name called TAMA, and the families I work with. And so that's what I want people to take away from this point today, is that you have the power. You have the control. There's lots of episodes that you can go back to and listen to experts really fine tune this point, maybe better than I'm doing now. Dr. Jennifer Dragonette is one of them. But we've now recorded over 160 episodes now. So I've written a lot on the blog about this topic. And it's important because, again, your emotional decisions affect your financial decisions. Your financial decisions affect your emotions. They go hand in hand. They are tied at the hip, if you will. So if you get anything out of this message today, know that you have more control than you realize. You have the power to make changes. Now that you've made it to the end of another great conversation, are you looking for more? If so, head over to tamacapital.com, where you will find all of our conversations. Use the search feature to find the topic or guest you would love to learn more about. Also, don't forget to make someone else's day by sharing our show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.